shoot, I just looked. It's day 13, I think, or 14. No, it's day 14, I believe. And feeling pretty good right now. Just got a little workout in. I don't know, my arms aren't looking that good, but got a good little workout in, you know, nothing too crazy. Work went pretty decent today. I did some price analysis and stuff like that, kind of boring stuff. I actually worked with ChatGPT 5 today, and it helped me kind of come up with some spreadsheets, and you know, I had to plug in all the information and stuff like that for it and tell it exactly what I wanted and work with it kind of like a personal assistant almost. You kind of have to teach the thing how to do its job, but once it learns its job, it's efficient and quick, faster than you'd ever do it, which is scary. And I think in the next episode I'm going to talk a little bit more about AI, just because it's something that's, you know, something that interests me a little bit, is just everything to do with AI, all the stuff like that. I was watching some a really cool video from a guy, I believe, what was the YouTube channel name? It was something Channel AI, something like that. He went over basically a founder of AI, or like one of the godfathers of AI, had written a book. It's a fictional book, but the predictions of how it all went down, it's more plausible than what you would think it would be, or just like how AI would unfold itself, and AGI, you know, artificial general intelligence. And they mentioned like in the video, it's like Agent 1, Agent 2, Agent 3, just like basically they're released versions of AI and their agents, which are basically AI can do similar tasks. It starts off like menial tasks that humans do and slowly develops into more and more and more, which is really crazy to think about. That like it's like something, it's so easy to roll off the tongue, but then when you really think about it, it's actually insane how advanced the stuff is going to be, like really soon. It gets very, very scary. It's something where, I mean, a lot of people, they're gonna have their, you know, at first, how it's gonna all work out is that, for like anything, I feel like at first the technology is gonna be super simplistic, and it's gonna be pro use for humans, and it's gonna help humans become more efficient. Like as in now, honestly, it is that way. But now imagine a mini personal assistant for everybody that's $20 a month. You know, like that's game changing. Like that's crazy. Like the world's going to become way more efficient, give or take about 2 years from now. But then as it slowly leads on, it's eventually going to just get smarter and smarter, and it's going to want to deceive humans. And you know, there's going to be tests that are given by these, most likely by like a committee, and you know, that's paired with government officials and obviously people who are experts in the field. Eventually the stuff's just going to start trying to deceive us, you know, or deceive us, not deceive us. And it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. Really scary though. And this is something where, you know, it's a little bit of a random spiral, but it's a little bit on my mind, is like, you kind of gotta make your money pretty within these next 10 years. I mean, or else it's going to be really difficult to find any work out there. And by then there might be universal basic income, you know, these are really big talks, or, you know, subsidized income, where certain individuals that use ChatGPT for certain jobs get paid this much at a basic minimum income, and it's gonna be a crazy structure. But anyways, that's a total random thought, you know, food for thought, or food for brain, or whatever. Trying to think here what else I want to talk about. I think something I'm going to start doing on this channel is honestly just talking a little bit more about like, sorry, my hair has been annoying the shit out of me. Talk a little bit more about just little interesting topics that I find cool, and stuff that I don't really talk to people about. I mean, I talk to my family a little bit about it, and some people that are close to me, but for the most part, nobody wants to hear me ramble on in my inner circle about AI, because it's like, it's not really much to do with their lives or mine quite yet. It's somewhat to do with mine a little bit more, but that's something that's like, everybody should be utilizing ChatGPT or some type of open AI source model. I mean, it's a game changer. And once you train it in, and it's literally like you're training something like a human or a dog. Obviously, there's a distance between, between AI, artificial intelligence and an actual existing sentient thing. But it's still really cool though, and you can train it in to get better and better and better at your tasks. And the more they keep upgrading ChatGPT, the better it'll become. And I think you're going to get behind the game if you don't use it. You should probably start learning how to use it, and that's what I'm trying to do a little bit here and there. Still not advanced enough to really. They say it's at a PhD level. I don't really know if it's at that point yet. I'm sure it is in information, but in tasks, not really. And it kind of struggles with my work and like reading the build maps and stuff like that, because they're OCR technology or whatever that scans the image. It just totally gets thrown off, and I don't know. And the variables in my business are too much because there's a lot of moving parts, and it's not really, there's just so many moving parts. It's like so many spots, so many areas, so it's just like, it's hard for it to keep track and really get there's no baseline. It's not like for my contract work, we're going all over the place, all over the cities, Twin City metro area, literally everywhere. And like, it's not going to be able to really track all the variables, get a rough estimate. It can though, like it's really good at like a job P&L, like profit and loss, I guess, or a job costing and stuff like that. I punched in a bunch of overhead costs and eventually figured out like, okay, like here's what your daily overhead cost is. And then I'm like, okay, sounds good. Well, if I have this many employees, get paid this much an hour, here's the labor, or what can I afford? How many hours can I afford to be at this job site, and and it helps me figure that out, which I'm starting to actually implement into my business a little bit more. And actually just did with one of my leads there and some of the other employees. I just kind of keyed them in on like, here's this week's jobs, here's how many hours we need to get each job done at, and obviously for me to be able to make somewhat of a profit, yeah. But my workout went pretty good. It was really quick. It was late at night. I really did not feel like honestly doing it. But I did it anyways, which is something that I need to just start doing more, is like, figuring out, like not figuring out, but doing, where if you don't, doesn't matter if I feel happy, if I feel sad, if I feel tired, if I feel awake, I should be performing at the same level. And so at a good, professional, excellent level, and I am trying to. Which, today was a good testament of that, of my will, of like, I'm laying in bed, I'm tired, I almost fell asleep, and I'm like, I'm gonna go work out. So what's new with you guys? I mean, shit, I don't really got too much for me, it's just constant, as I've said multiple times before, it's this constant of just rinse and repeat. I'm trying to optimize my business better though. That's something that I want to do, and me being on the field, I'm going to continue just getting better and better and better. It is the main goal, and get things done quicker and faster, and all that fun jazz. It's crazy. My veins are actually popping like a lot right now. I don't know if I can show you guys or not, but no, maybe. It's about everything. So yeah, that's a little quick update. I know, surprisingly enough, some of the last episodes and stuff, actually people are starting to watch it a little bit. It's kind of weird. Like, I know there's been one person out there who has watched what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis, and that actually makes me really happy. Other than the people in my circle, obviously that makes me really happy too. It's cool that they're coming and watching this, but it's interesting knowing that somebody, from just based off the viewer count, it has to be this way, that somebody or maybe a few people have watched what I'm doing day to day. And so, yeah. I want to let you know too, like, I'm not really putting on a performative act when I'm doing this. Like, this is just me and my legitimate intentions. Obviously, I actually heard this a long time ago in school, something about like the three faces. Like, one face is shown to yourself, or one shown to the public, one shown to friends and family, and one shown to yourself. I think we're at the layer now where we're at phase 2, maybe phase 1. You know, obviously with a self-journal, you kind of got to be at phase one, but I know at the end of the day, there might be people who watch this, but, you know, still, I don't really restrain myself. This is kind of who I am. This is how I talk. This is what I do. I'm a pretty straightforward, level-headed guy, you know, for the most part. Obviously, I have my ups and downs just as anybody else does. You know, nobody's perfect in that way. But I just want to let you know that this is my raw and intentional self, that I don't really have much to hide or to, you know, pull myself back from. And it may seem lame, it may seem boring, you know, whatever it may be. So it's not made for you. Then, you know, it's like the right people find me on this, and that'll be what it is. You know, I'm not really looking to get rich off of making videos on my iPhone. It's just not something that I want to do. This is for me and anybody who cares. Also, another thing too, as I always say, if you want to talk about your own life story, man, I really, if you're watching right now at 11 minutes and 15 seconds and you're seeing this, I want you to comment something. I want one comment of somebody on here who wants to talk about their own story or something similar to that, or something interesting, maybe an interesting topic. Maybe you shoot me a topic to go research into, and I research it for, you know, 15, 20 minutes, and I come up with a little thesis of my own, or what I think about what's going on, or even on your own life. Hey, here's what, you know, I went and ran a marathon here. This is the challenges I went through. I'd love to talk about it in the next episode for anybody else who's watching. All right. Thank you guys very much. Bye.